Yeah. So, like the questions that we always get, I mean, like half of our questions are like, is a Yaller horn enough for my speakers? Is an Azure? Does this work? This we can actually say, well, on an Azure, if we change the amp to an Azure from actually the Wotan right now, this range on car will move way down. And then you can actually better understand what you can do with an amp. And these are like the questions like no one can answer.
We're gonna go see the new Schiit. Can Jam is in Dallas right now, and so I would normally probably wouldn't go to Can Jam, but I know Schiit is over there and they are releasing a new product. So of course, I've got to make the trek across the Metroplex, brave all of the different traffic, brave the elements, and go hang out with some people that like headphones. Maybe I'll find some cool headphones. Oh, Nelly. It'll be a lot of fun. Come with me on the journey.
It's a little bit dangerous because you're running like...
A little bit dangerous, yeah. No, I'll handle it. We have the infamous Goldensound.
Hello.
Right here. They broke the internet with Tidal, right?
MQA, yeah.
Yeah.
And Tidal indirectly.
Tell people about your channel.
So I do reviews on my own channel, Goldensound, and on the Headphone Show with headphones.com. I go a little bit more into the sort of technical nitty-gritty with particularly DACs and amplifiers than a lot of other channels. That's kind of my thing. And yeah, I'm equally as into the music and the engineering, and that's what I love to talk about.
Very nice. Well, you saw it here in Dallas. He had to come all the way across the Atlantic Ocean to meet me. No, just kidding. He's here for Can Jam. So anyway.
I'm here for the barbecue. That's the main, yeah, that's the main reason, to be honest.
All right. Well, great to meet you, man.
And you.
Doug,
Hi.
these are the best dynamic driver headphones I have ever heard. We are amongst YouTube royalty.
Are we?
Doug,
Where?
from DMS, from the Headphone Show. But I did one of my first videos with Doug. It was a joke video.
That was fun.
Between two speakers.
Yeah.
And
I learned a lot about castrating Schiit.
that's right. It's not as complicated as you think it is. Doug, what are you up to?
I'm talking to you. It's great.
No, I know, but
No,
like life-wise.
Oh gosh,
You
so
shut
much.
down the YouTube channel like 3 years ago, right? No more content.
Never again.
Never again. I'm just kidding.
No.
Of course he's got
Still
content.
doing the same old stuff. Still making videos. Still having fun. Coming to the shows. You know, I'm here. Headphones.com doing the headphone show
Headphones.com.
stuff.
Do they still offer a 365-day?
Yeah. It's wild.
I mean, what if somebody like destroys the headphone? I mean, they don't take that bad, right?
I mean, there's like a certain amount of like abuse that's tolerated for it. You know, like if somebody's like buying a headphone and returning it like every single
okay.
week, it's like, come on, guy.
Yeah.
You know? But it's kind of an honor system. For the most part, it works. But when I first met the guys, because I met them a few years before I started working with them, I was like, that's crazy. That's never going to work. It's still working. So,
That's super cool, man.
yeah, they're really nice guys, though. I brought my measurement rig to this show, like the head and torso simulator. It looks a lot like Andrew Park Resolve.
Okay,
You know?
yeah.
Like the similar facial expression and all that. If she couldn't make it to the show, he's still in Canada right now, but you know.
Canadians,
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
metric system stuff.
But it's fun. A lot of people have been bringing in their headphones. I've been measured on that. Some cool stuff, some Sennheisers from like the 70s. So just kind of, you know, having fun, doing my thing. This is like kind of a slower show than the
Yeah.
other ones. It's not
Well,
as crazy.
this is what, the second year or first year?
Yeah, second
Okay.
year, I think. And Dallas is like, it's kind of nice because we don't have to yell.
You just released your own headphone, right?
Yeah, oh gosh. It's kind of a passion project. It's only going on for 1 year.
Okay.
We're halfway through it right now. So the goal was to make something that measures the same in an eardrum as a good speaker does in a treated room.
Okay.
And
Are they closed back or open?
open back, dynamic, low impedance, but with non-linear impedance. So if you hook them up to a tube amp, you get like an actual measurable bass increase.
Okay. I feel like you're making up words, but I'm just going to keep nodding my head.
Yeah, I'll just the longer I can string them all together, you know.
Yeah.
We'll start talking about head-related transfer functions.
Okay.
No,
that's
it's a
perfect.
passion project. It was
Yeah.
something that no one made it, so I figured I'd make it myself. I try to make them really
Are we
light.
even in focus here?
Maybe.
Maybe. Maybe
Possibly.
not. I don't know. All right, let's move this over. There we go.
But yeah, it'll be when the year's up. I'm gonna put all the designs out there for free. And
That's
that'll
crazy,
be it.
man. That's cool, man. That's
It'll
very
be fun.
cool.
You
Yeah.
make some at home then.
I couldn't. You could.
You probably could.
Yeah. Maybe.
I believe in you. If you can castrate a sheep, you can build a headphone.
Well, that was more. I had to do that. Anything new coming out on DMS or headphones.com or anything
Oh,
we should be
gosh.
looking at?
You know what? You could be the first to know about this. I haven't told the world this. On the headphone show, I'm doing a really weird, wacky project. This isn't a product. This is just for fun. But you know how people love the HT600 and love tube amps?
Yeah.
I thought, what if we tried to build a tube amp inside of an HT600? It's a little bit dangerous because you're running like
a little bit dangerous.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's tube rectified and you're running wall power straight into the ear cups.
Yeah.
But
What could possibly go wrong?
yeah, so I'm working on that at home right now,
Okay.
and that'll probably be out on that channel in like a month or something.
Wow.
So
Oh, cool, man.
You
Well,
know.
I was super excited. I'm walking on the back of the room, and I hear Randy.
yeah, you'd sort of look around like where?
And I'm
is this coming
looking
from?
around, and it was Doug, DMS, and Doug was so gracious to have to be on my show early on.
Oh, it was fun.
And it was a blast, man. But it's just been a pleasure to meet you.
Dude, likewise. It's the first time I actually got to see you in person.
I know.
And it was a surprise too. My first time coming to Can Jam Dallas.
Yeah, there you go. I just ended up showing up. Cool. Thanks, Doug.
Dude.
Because like most dynamic drivers, they like have a peak at like either 2K or 4 to 6K, and like these like approach like I'm like, okay, this is going to be sibilant, and then nothing.
Oh, it's just like dead on there.
It's like right to the edge, and then it pulls back. The bass, cannot believe how good these sound. These are the Omegas we were just talking about, and the top end is not like It's got a little bit of spice, you know. Like sometimes it's like white noise piped in at the right frequency at the right time. Like it doesn't sound like trouble. Like this sounds like instruments. Like these are amazing.
Thank you. Because I feel like one of the kind of the cardinal sins you get in the industry is people putting, you know, this much damping or whatever all in front of or behind their drivers.
Yeah,
and
it's
it kind of
like
makes them
I
sound
tuned
dead.
my headphone by stuffing toilet paper in front of the driver. Like I've never understood like that.
Well, it's not needed too, because you can do all the tuning with the baffle and with the acoustic space. It's all about building the room around the driver in your ear, because this becomes the room, right? So what you have is electrical impedance, so ohms, right?
Yeah.
You also have acoustic impedance. So you think of the space here that's in the ear cup and the space out here, everything outside of the headphone. If there was no resistance between those two, if sound could pass right through, you would have no acoustic impedance. And lower acoustic impedance usually makes things sound more consistent from person to person, from head to head. It makes them measure more consistent. So ideally, the lower you can get that acoustic impedance, the more consistent your tuning is going to be. But you can do all of that tuning with just making sure that you have a driver with the right teal small parameters, you know, the right resonant frequency, all that. Building a driver with a baffle with the correct acoustic impedance. So this is a woven stainless steel mesh, that is literally my room, essentially, is woven stainless steel. The shape and size of those openings is what determines the tuning. The ports, vents that go all the way around, all of that is how it's tuned instead of using, you know, essentially blocking material.
Did you model this computer-wise before you like went into prototype or production?
Oh yeah, this was like, I mean, this went through, I can't even tell you how many revisions. It was probably a thing I worked on for 2 years before it came to what it is now. All done in CAD. A lot of testing. Part of that was I modeled something that I knew was going to work right, and finally got to where I wanted it, and then realized that it was a shape and profile that I couldn't manufacture with injection molding or with machining or any of that stuff. Because you look at this kind of shape, there's no way to pull a mold apart in two directions that lets you make this shape with all the internal structures. Because you'd have to have pieces that go and fit on the inside and all that. The only way I could make this was with nylon powder. So you literally get a giant vat of powder, and it pushes the powder off and then lasers it in together. Pushes the powder off and lasers it in together until you end up with this, which has other cool side effects. So nylon PA11, as well as every other material on here, is biodegradable.
Very cool. All made in the U.S. too, right?
All made in the U.S. Now there are certain components that are not made in the U.S., like the driver itself. This is an OEM driver. The pads I get from Tacony. The machining, all this machining is done in Texas, actually, by a guy out here. All of the SLS parts are done by a guy in Michigan. And then we're doing all the laser cutting, all the assembly, QC, all that stuff in Tennessee. Guarantee the quality of every single unit being within the tolerances that I'm happy with. So at the end of the day, you know, me and my friend go through and we measure all the units and we match them and we put the serial number on them and then put the measurement for that unit on the site, box them up, and they're out the door.
Jason Stoddard, what's new at Schiit?
Nothing.
Nothing. Come on
Nothing.
now. No, you got something new.
Well, other than changing the entire basis of the company, it's exactly the same.
Okay, so where are you now? I know where you're at.
Well, no, we're here in Texas. We're actually in Corpus or San Antonio. I'm confused because I live in Corpus and we're building a place up near San Antonio, and we'll be both places.
Yeah.
If any employees are watching this, it's, don't panic. I'm going to be in both places.
Yeah.
Relax.
What are you going to make in San Antonio?
The bigger stuff, bigger power amps, bigger power amps, preamps, stuff like that. Corpus is going to continue to do anything that plugs in via a wall wart or actually USB.
What did you release at today's show?
This wonderful thing called Forkbeard.
You can walk over there too. I'll just play.
Forkbeard is neat. I think they're still trying.
So it's called Forkbeard?
Yeah. Forkbeard is okay. Everyone's going to say it's a unified remote control system. It's like, yeah, it is. That's the start of it. So you can take all your shit remote controls and throw them away.
What was wrong?
We blew the tweeters and speakers.
Whoops.
I know. Sorry, we blew it has tweeter fuses. So
Okay, so you blew the fuse.
Yeah. Everyone's going to say, "Oh, it's cool. It's a remote control type thing," except it's a lot more than that. We actually have, if you notice the actually yellow and red markings on the volume, that's what we call visual volume. This tells you where it clips or where it's getting near clipping, and also where it's actually in clipping. And this is based on the exact system you're using. So if you actually change from like high gain to low gain, it actually changes where the range is, where you get into trouble. And you can see you really can't get into trouble in low gain. What that gives you is the ability to answer questions like, is this amp enough for my speaker? Yeah. So like the questions that we always get, I mean, like half of our questions are like, is a Yowler horn enough for my speakers? Is an Azure? Does this work? This we can actually say, well, on an Azure, if we change the amp to an Azure from actually the Wotan right now, this range on car will move way down. And then you can actually better understand what you can do with an amp. And these are like the questions like no one can answer.
Yeah.
So finally we'll be able to get a little bit of data, and once we start taking some data, we'll be able to tell people this is actually based on reality and based on, measurements. That's where we're going. It's a whole different ball game, and this is actually an app-based Bluetooth low energy system done by our internal team. All the firmware, all of the app, all that stuff is done by full-time employees. So we have committed to this. This is our.
Take me through what products currently have it.
Right now we have 8 products with it. 2 of them are new. Gunyer 2, which is fun. It's new DAC. And Wotan, which is the new high-power dual mono amp. But we have also moved it into Vidar, Azure, and Kara and Freya. So you have multiple choices of amps and preamps. Saga 2 you may recognize, and Kraken you may recognize, and you're like, wait, what happened there? Well, those have always shipped with Forkbeard. We just haven't had the modules put in. So now you can actually drop a module into it, or very soon. As soon as Apple approves the app, we'll get your modules, and then everything will work together. You can drop a different amp in the system, the ranges will change on visual volume, and you have a nice unified view of what the heck is actually going on.
So now Schiit is in the software business.
Yes, we are now a software company. Something we said, we don't want to do that. And it's like, I don't want to do that for a streamer. Nothing wrong with streamers. It's just there's tons of them out there, and I can't tell you off the top of my head what we do different. But there's nothing like this. As far as I know, this is the first multi-product, multi-stack, so multi-system in your same house, control system, but it also does inter-product like measurement and advanced functions like visual volume. So this is really new. This is not a streamer. And, hopefully, maybe my next thing is we go talk to Rune and say, hey, can we reflect your stuff on our app?
Yeah, that would be really cool. Maybe so.
We'll see.